Minister of Economy and Finance. I think that's Thierry Minko, and he's also been tasked with tackling cost of living, because there's a struggle with cost of living there. And I feel like these are not easy assignments, because the economy is not so good right now. It's very slow. So if you are taxed with that, I think Terry Minko is taxed with the most duty or responsibility here, because it's more like they're telling you, come and make an economy that is slow before not to be slow again. What are you going to do in that case? But I feel like this large cabinet is often a promise of inclusiveness on one hand, but we want to see how, decision making like this, overhaul in cabinets, in all of these things, completely overhaul the country's economy too.
I just feel where duties is being shared, there is what is called fast working, and it makes things more easy. I like the fact that the new cabinet is expected to focus on political stability, stronger public finance, and easing cost of living, most importantly. So I like the fact that the responsibility has been shared, and yes, they will try their best to meet up to that. That's what I like about it.
Okay, I think that's the much from the news headlines review or news review segment. But then let's go through the news we brought you. Let's take a recap of them. Okay, the first news story we brought to you is that President Tinubu orders manhunt after deadly Niger state attacks, and Lagos government reaffirms rewards for outstanding public servants, while Togo approves new 10-year decentralization roadmap. Gabon unveils new 31-member cabinet. I think these are all tough stories, heavy stories coming from Africa. But then we have to go on this break, and when we come back, we bring you the discussion segment where we'll be talking about flood. Flood is returning, and NIMET and NEMA are sending out early warnings and preparedness measures. Yes.
Number
Stay
7,
with us.
nanotechnology in medicine and electronics. When you shrink technology down to the nanoscale, you open up whole new possibilities. In medicine, researchers are exploring nanoparticles that deliver chemotherapy drugs directly to tumors, reducing side effects. MIT and Brigham and Women's Hospital have developed nanosensors that can detect cancer biomarkers in blood. In electronics, nanoscale transistors are already pushing Moore's law further, with IBM unveiling a 2-nanometer chip in 2021 that promises major gains in performance and energy efficiency. The global nanotechnology market is projected to surpass $250 billion by 2030, showing just how central this field is becoming. Number 8.
Okay, good to know that you're still there with us. This is the Idea Morning Digest. And now we are in the discussion segment. So we've been hearing floods. Throughout last year, we saw a lot of, should I say, not so good news about the flood, especially in Mokwa, in Niger State, in Kogi, in some other parts of Nigeria. And these recurring floods, from recurring floods, we've been hearing from recurring floods to emergency relief. Nigeria's climate reality is becoming harder to ignore. So today, the National Emergency Management Agency has once again sounded a critical warning. Relief alone is no longer enough. That is what they are saying. So as floodwaters continues to destroy homes, destroy farmlands and livelihoods across parts of the country, NEMA is urging flood-prone communities to move beyond reaction and embrace disaster risk reduction and environmental responsibility. In Cross River State, relief materials have reached affected communities, but the larger question remains: how prepared are we for the next flood, and what must change now to prevent repeated losses? That's the conversation we are having today. So we've heard the news. That's the much of it. When we hear stories like this come up again, I say again deliberately, because yes, it almost feels like deja vu. It's always coming, like we know of these things, and every raining season the same thing plays out, the same script plays out. Flood waters are rising, homes are collapsing, farmlands are disappearing, we are suffering there is no
People are
food.
dying.
We'll start complaining about inflation again. We'll
Yes.
start calling Tinubu, what did Tinubu not do, and all of those things. But these are some of the causes of all of those things. Then you now see emergency response team will start rushing in. Relief materials will be shared. Cameras will be there. Bring the press release everywhere. How many people did not die? You know, all of those things. Then before you know again, national attention will move. We'll go to another thing. We'll forget that ever happened, and we should tackle the situation before it even happens at all. But this time, I am commending NEMA for this. Yes, NEMA is coming out with this message. Slightly uncomfortable. People I saw your reaction when I said you said flood. In your mind, we're in climate change era. Anything can happen. Throughout the end of last year, it's unlike, I know in the south rain and the southwest, rain usually falls, especially the south. Rain usually falls even in Harmattan period, what we see as Harmattan period. So there's almost like there are more than, I think, one seasons in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Yes, I can say for sure, because in the south throughout the December period, it was raining. In Lagos, it was raining. In Bayelsa, all of those tropical rainforest areas, it was raining, and it was raining heavily. I remember my family called me and they were like, it's raining here. A day before Christmas, it was raining heavily. That was what they told me. So it wasn't surprising to me, because I know how it's like with that place. And people in Lagos are calling and are saying it's raining here. So, and some people, I remember I was sharing with who that I saw that the clouds were changing here in Abuja, and we asked to go and pack our clothes from outside, because it was the breeze and everything and all of those things, and I was like, what is going on here? The clouds were changing, it was getting dark, and I was very surprised. It's unlike Abuja for that to happen. But you can see, that's just to tell you, all of this, my long story is just to tell you that climate change is real. Times are changing, and you know, it's only right for NEMA to come out and say, because we have always talked, and today we still talk about not reacting first. Let's take proactive measures before we start, you know, thinking of how to manage the situation that has already happened. But we like what NEMA is coming out to do. They are saying we won't, you know, allow this happen again. We won't go and do emergency response. We will go, and we want to inform people first that prepare, flood is coming. You should be prepared for it. We don't want to do all of those prevention and whatnot. And when we talk about prevention, relief materials are very, you know, necessary here. Okay. But, you know, we how long do they last for? That's another thing. So even if NEMA is coming out to say people should be prepared, I know everybody have their own role to play in this. Even if NEMA is coming out to say be prepared, or do this or do that, or what are they doing to ensure that people prepare? First of all, they are creating that awareness. Secondly, what? A lot of people in Nigeria do not have what to use to prevent themselves from some of this, and there's little to, I cannot say nothing, there's little to something we can do to prevent ourselves from, you know, this flood or this harm. But then, what is NEMA giving? What are those materials that, you know, people need to have in place? You know, how are they ensuring that this information too, even if we know that they're creating awareness, how are they ensuring that this information gets to everybody? Because
many people are not on social media.
On social media, and then the relief materials they have shared from last time, is it going to even, you know, cater for people until from that last year until now? Because I remember this happened since from the beginning of last year, and now we are in 2026. So we want to understand, how are they preparing for it after passing out this information? How are they preparing for it after telling people, okay, you need to prevent yourself from this harm, or you need to do this, you need to do that? How are they ensuring that, you know, all houses are taken care of, farmlands are taken care of, you know? We want to see prevention that does not just look good on TV and, oh, okay. But then, notwithstanding, I still commend them for this effort, because information is the first step to everything.
Yes.
Awareness is the first step to everything. But then we want to see follow-ups. We want to see how and what they are doing about this. Let's talk about environmental issues, Mary.
The big question I want to ask here is that why do people enjoy building their houses near riverine areas? Why? Why? Knowing that there's going to be flood issue at the end of the day, and you know the risks that comes with that. Why are they still being encouraged to, or why do people that have land sell their lands to people to build houses there? If it's used for farming or that, I can understand. But having a house there where people live and there are children around, and you know that certain period, so thing is going to happen that will be very disastrous, and they are still building. Why is that? Another question is, why do they have dump of refuge at a particular site? There, all this riverine area, you see dumps of things.
It's only in riverine area. Coming to work. Roadside, major highway, major roads, you will be seeing.
Major road, that's another one.
Even the smell.
You know, what's going on? Do people don't really take care of their hygiene, or what exactly is happening? You know, sometimes I feel that we, the citizens, we contribute somehow to what is happening, because we love procrastination. Some people love procrastination. Something they are supposed to put hands and do, they would not only not do it, they will just be waiting for the government. What if the government do not respond as fast as you are the one that is living there? You should look for a partial solution at least before they would break their word, you know, but they'll just feel, okay, it's the government's responsibility. What if the disaster happened? It's not the children of the government, people that are there, living there. They are your children, they are your properties there. And I get this at the end of the day, you see they're coming out to cry and all that. I feel we as citizens too, we have our own part to play when it comes to all these things, you know. We need to put hands together to work together to achieve something at the end of the day.
I really like where you say this is, I mean, you're drawing our ears. I mean, yes, somehow you're drawing our ears to say this is where we must stop pointing fingers only at the government, and which is very true, because many of all of these floods in Nigeria are worsened by human behavior, dumping refuges where they shouldn't be dumped. You know, houses are built where they shouldn't be built, and all of those things. I mean, I was talking about coming to work, and Lube area, let me call it Lube area.
Okay.
The foul odor. You can, if car just parked to pick another passenger, you can hardly breathe.
You just hold your breath for that.
You can see the landfill. It has degraded the land completely, because it's no longer sand again. It's no longer land. It's landfill. All of those deaths they have been dumping for ages. People are even urinating there. People are even passing feces, doing a lot of things there. The smell, the bad odor that comes from that place, and people live there. And I'm wondering, how do people live?
How do people even survive?
People that stand there to wait for cars to go to war wherever they are going to, I'll be like,
do that.
Hey, God, help us, help us, or in the name of urban expansion, everybody will just live anywhere they see, anywhere they can afford, or anywhere they see house. Bring, I go live. People will be building houses too without approvals. What is the government doing about this? I remember Lagos State last year was trying to do something about, you know, building, how people are building houses anyhow without government, instructions and, you know, and approvals and whatnot. People are building houses close to roadsides, close to highways. People are living anywhere. Still last year, people were living under bridges in Lagos. Not the regular under, they are renting it.
As in,
they have landlords, like my land is under bridge. Yes. I'm a landlady under
the bridge. You would pay.
I mean, we should do something. You cannot block your drainage system, build houses where you're not supposed to build, do anyhow, you know. How would I put, disrespect our environment, disrespect the planet, and then at the end of the day you not blame it that it's climate change. It's climate change. Climate change what? When water has nowhere to pass to,
you're blocking the
water. You are blocking it. When you are tilling the ground anyhow when you are not supposed to, and then you come and say it's climate change. I know government must build better infrastructure, but communities too also have that responsibility, just like you've rightfully mentioned. Environmental responsibility starts at street level. It starts with us. It starts with you and I. It's not for us to wait, not from Abuja, not from federal government. It starts with you and I, in your house, inside your kitchen, anywhere you are, it starts with you. I mean,
charity
begins at home, because you go to some people's houses, they are just there piling up dump to go and dump where?
He said
to dump where? This is where we need to start thinking of recycling and all of those things, because when we talk of climate change and food security, it's a silent crisis that we have been talking about it, but it's like we're not hammering on it very well, because most citizens feel like, I'll go back to saying, they feel it's a government thing.
Yes.
Any small I cannot afford yam is government. Have you stopped to think? And I'm referencing a video I made during when was that? When the onion issue was, onion was gold as at that time in Nigeria, and people were talking about it. And I remember somebody entered my DM on Facebook, and the person was like, "But Cynthia, this, that. I'm not sure." I said, let's stop and leave government first. Let's stop to think. Onions that is being planted in Kebbi, there's hardly enough rainfall there.
Of course.
You cannot, there's hardly enough rainfall there. How do you expect them to plant? Government did not, we know that government did not provide them, but these people have been planting before all of these mechanized ways of farming came about. Yes. But when we talk about you degrading the atmosphere and whatnot, rain will not want to fall again. And if rain doesn't want to fall, will you get onions? You will not get all of those things. So let's think about where our fault lies and see how we can tackle it, because this story is bigger than flooding.
Yeah, it is.
This what we are talking about is bigger than flooding, because there are farmlands in places like Cross River. All of these things will be submerged. If they are submerged in farmlands in Kebbi is submerged, if farmland in Nasarawa State is submerged, in Bako is submerged, all of these things are submerged. It's no longer a local tragedy again. It's no longer a local issue. It's going to be it's a national food issue. It's going to tell on our food security at the end of the day. It's not only farmers that will suffer for it. Farmers will suffer for it, yes. But food supply will be scarce.
Of course.
It will reduce, it will be scarce, prices will go up, and that's why we'll start complaining about the onions we are talking about the ginger we are talking about. We understand that there's a problem with demand and supply in Nigeria. Exactly. Whenever something is in high demand, prices tend to go up. Traders will just say they want to increase price for no reason. But then let's think about all of these climate issues too that affect food prices. Let's think about all of it. Household we feel it too for more, and we don't want that this year. So when NEMA comes out to say we are talking about flood, how people should be ready, be prepared and prevent it, and communities should get ready and be resilient, it's not because they just want you to not allow water enter your house or submerge your house. It's everything we are talking about. Talking about food prices, we are talking about to abet or alleviate poverty, even if not completely, to a large extent, because all of these things will result to poverty.
Of course.
If you no longer have places to stay, we have many internally displaced people
everywhere.
That's a poor society.
Of course.
That won't be a productive society again. So we just have to do a lot of things. You start seeing people moving from. That's where you start seeing rural urban migration. Which year we were saying people don't plenty for Abuja. These are some of the issues.
Yes.
People are living where they were having good lives and surviving, even if not having good lives. They don't have anywhere to stay again. They do not have anything to fall back to earn a living. They'll start looking for where to go to, and then you start having your cities clogged. You increase crime as well. Increase crime as well. So all of these things, flooding today, it will become hunger tomorrow. That's just it. And coming back to what NEMA is talking about, those early warning systems, I think it's very, very critical, like you mentioned before. And Nigeria, we get weather alerts, but how often do we take it seriously?
We don't even take it seriously.
That's another thing. How often do we take it seriously?
How many people even take their time to go through weather
reports? And NIMET has done a lot of work throughout last year. They did very, very well when it comes to reporting, when it comes to telling people this is it, or rain is going to fall. NIMET did their work. They did their work last year, and I believe that they will continue and follow through with this year. And let's also have it in mind that information will not completely equate to action. So it's more like because like you said, how many people will this information get to?
Get to.
There are some these communities that are usually mostly affected do not have means of communication. Some of them do not even watch television. Some of them do not, even the radio. Sometimes you just even want to listen to radio when they are playing music, gong, 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 gong.
Exactly.
If they start saying another thing, you want to, because Nigeria problem too much. Let me just listen to music, and when they are talking, they are talked on too much. And some people may not even understand how to interpret weather reports. They will not understand all those sessions. Just big English. I think they should find a way to break it down to people, because people need to understand. People need to understand what they have to do with information. It's not just to pass information. What are they going to do with this information? Now, NEMA is coming out to say early warning, so people should get ready. How can information reach people in their local languages? How can you tell village heads, community leaders, youth leaders to begin to share this information? How can you make sure that schools begin to share this information to students in school, so that you tell one child, this one goes home, tell this other one, tell their parents, this one, information will distribute like that. And, how will communities even trust this source that the information is coming from? They'll just feel like these people don't they talk again, they're speaking another bit English. So let's find a way. That's why I say information is enough. It's not enough.
Yeah.
Awareness is good, is the first step. But educate these people, make sure this information goes around, make sure people are able to interpret and understand this information. Mary?
Yeah, you said it all. The information should be break down to the level that they should understand, because it's not all of them that are educated, especially in the rural areas. I don't know. There used to be this piece of communication where you see a radio station speaking in people's languages, and it is being passed, and some radio station also communicates with pidgin English where they can understand. It's not enough passing the information. Never should also look for means of helping to prevent this damages that is upcoming. But I believe that with time, everything is going to work out well. And I believe that as people are hearing and the information keep coming, they'll also look for means, because nobody wants their environment to be in total disaster. Nobody wants to be in a huge loss. Everybody is looking for where they can gain. Everybody is looking for an environment that will be very productive. So I believe that with time, they are humans too. They would want to come out with a possible solution to prevent this destruction from, coming to them, and they will look for other means of, helping themselves out. Because sometimes it gets to a point where if you don't see the government reaction, if you don't see the government, coming to your aid, you have to look for solution yourselves. And trust me, these rural areas, these rural communities, they like helping themselves a lot. I've seen for sure. So I believe they would be planning towards the ready period to know how to prevent all this disaster from coming.
Well said, Mary. I think that's where the government needs to, take accountability and, bring out sustainable measures for all of this to respond to emergencies like these, because we've been talking about resilience building. Resilience building is always better than relief.
Yeah.
Because most times what we have seen for a while now is relief. Find a way to just, tackle the situation, manage it, and then that. So we want to see that resilience building. We want to see sustainable effort that will carry on for a very long time, that will even become a part of the people, and then they will not even need the government to always come and, vein in some of these issues. They will know that, okay, we've been equipped and empowered to, tackle this situation on our own. Government needs to start asking important questions like, where are the flood control projects, if they have ever been one?
That's what I wanted to say.
And if there are, how do we follow through, see through with it? How do we follow up with it? This is the time to reinforce drainage systems. How many do we have in a place? If people are building houses, are they putting gutters? I remember a fire. This is to digress a little, but not completely out of what we are talking about. I remember we had a fire service officer here, and he was talking about how when people want to build houses, they should come and consult. It's important for them to consult with the fire service as well. And we're wondering, really, why? And he said, so that how to build, fire mitigation systems in your house, how to include it, what you should do. So I think it is the same for in the case of building drainage systems and all. If you want to build a house, I think you should consult. The government should open that room, that portal, for people to, consult with them, especially I'm talking of NEMA in particular. Consult with them and say, okay, how can we? I'm very sure they should have architects in NEMA. They should have departments that have architects in NEMA. Say, okay, if you are building a house, where do you want to build it? Okay, is it on top of a rock? Okay, this is how you build it and whatnot. And I know the FCDA too. I see how all of these agencies can, partner, collaborate. People should be able to, they should create that channel and that portal for people to be able to consult with them and say, okay, if I'm building this house, see the gutters I should put, see how many gutters I should put, see this, see this, see that. Think of how to, reinforce land use. And also, ways for them to support farmers is very, very important too. They should think of ways to support farmers because there is little to nothing they are doing for farmers. Every day we just see farmer intervention programs, this one, that one, that one. They have empowered these farmers. At the end of the day, they'll still come back again and they'll start battling with post-disaster periods, livelihoods, and let the government find a way to support farmers because I just feel like it's people in this is even affecting everybody. It's not just people in rural areas that are suffering from it. Let's see how we can find a long-term plan. Let's see how we can find a long-term plan. We should begin to talk about resilience this time around, not relief. We should move past talking about relief. But I really like that NEMA has come out with this first step, very important. But then this is the much we can bring your way for today. Hope we have brought something very important to you. So you have this at the back of your mind because, flooding may be natural, but the scale of its destruction is often exacerbated by, human activities. And climate impact is intensifying. Yes, it's because I don't want to talk about climate that much before they'll say Cynthia and climate. But then the real test will be whether communities, authorities, and institutions can shift from a reactive to a resilient approach and from, a focus on relief to commitment to responsibility. And that's where we draw the curtains for today's discussion. You can continue the conversations with us online, share your thoughts, share your experiences, share your solutions, share your ideas on our social media platforms at Idea Television and, follow us, comment, and engage with us. And don't forget, you can also watch the replay of this episode and all other episodes of the Idea Morning Digest. My name is Cynthia Bassi and I have you been with.
Okay,
Okay, this is where we say bye for now.
bye.